practice candor in my communications. And most leaders, I feel, they struggle when they have to communicate with candor.
Yeah.
People
Agree.
try to sugarcoat, beat around the bush, but the message has to be conveyed. And when you know that the message has to be conveyed, why can't it be direct? My way of no nonsense approach is, if there is a work to be done, get it done. Whether you do it or you want somebody to do it, be very clear. And ultimately, your goal is to get the task done. Doesn't matter who gets the credit. See, this nonsense will come into picture once you start worrying about, if this job is done, the other fellow may get the credit, then I may not be pushed, I may not get the due share of mine, something may happen, or people may think that the other fellow is smart, I'm not smart. If you start thinking like that, then the nonsense creeps in.
Correct.
When you keep all these things out and focus only on getting the tasks done, deliver the value, make the customer delight, that's where the no nonsense will apply.
Hello and welcome back to PMP with Prachi, the podcast dedicated to helping you master your project management and transition from a manager to a project leader. Today, I'm thrilled to introduce a very dear friend of mine, Bhanu Vishwanadha, an IT leader and recognized personnel in information system security. Bhanu's trajectory is unique. He began his career as a scientist, spending over a decade in the world of mathematical modeling and simulation. Since then, he has evolved into the delivery leader, directing PMOs and architecturing security solutions for major global enterprises. In this episode, we are exploring his no-nonsense leadership framework and a philosophy built upon the uncompromising pillars of communication and candor. We'll discuss how he successfully shifted from the precision of scientist research to the fast-paced world of Silicon Valley product delivery. We will also tap into his deep roots in the professional community and a former president of PMI Silicon Valley chapter. With that, welcome to the show, Bhanu.
Thank you, Prachi. Let's get the show started.
Okay, so why don't we begin by your brief introduction, and from a scientist, how did you pivot into the project program manager role?
Great start. After completing my graduation from IIT Kharagpur in mathematics, I joined DRDO as a scientist, where I was fortunate to work along the likes of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam and 4-star, 5-star generals coming from Army and different armed officers from Air Force, Navy, where my primary job was in the computer center developing computer simulation for the missiles when they are launched, basically predicting their trajectories and making sure that they are going in the right path, and if necessary, do the necessary corrections. That was a great moment. 12 years I spent in DRDO working along great scientists of India really made me a person who came from an academic background into doing something creative and something be proud of. That mindset has instilled in me, and when the opportunity came via a friend of mine, a colleague of mine who moved to the United States few years before me, called me once and he casually said, "Do you want to come?" I said, "Where?" He told, "Here to the United States." I said, "I don't even have a passport." He said, "No problem. You take care of the passport, I take care of the rest. The rest is history." Within 6 months of that phone call, I landed in United States. That's so fast. No real thinking went into it. It's all the confidence. And it's all the networking that I had made me believe that yes, I can survive. I can belong. I can be belonging there. That's the reason. That's how I landed here as a database administrator in Oracle.
So it's not just about networking, I guess. It's also building trust, building that relationship, and the goodwill. So you would have worked hard or to maintain the friendship or relationship with the person. So he brought the opportunity for you.
Exactly. That's what even today I tell all the people that I meet, I talk, never burn the bridges with anybody
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because you never know how they will be helpful to you
Mm-hmm.
or you may be helpful to them.
Yep.
Never do that. Things happen for a cause, and the best mindset is whatever happens is for the good of you. That is the mindset that you should have.
Wow.
Like a company will have 10,000 employees, but there is only one CEO. Everybody cannot be a CEO. It can be different reasons. Right time at the right place. Maybe they have some different new skills or they got lucky. Just take it like that. One thing is, as we are coming from India, the karma, whatever you deserve, you will get it. If you don't get something, simply put it as, I don't deserve it. Don't
Wow.
think that somebody has stopped you or somebody has denied you or somebody has did some bad things to you. That's why you did not get it. If you get to that mode, you're only grooming negativity in your mind. The moment you think, okay, I didn't deserve this. Maybe it is not destined for me. You are still keeping that positive mindset and looking at tomorrow to be a better tomorrow.
Yeah, I so agree with you. So I wanted to ask you this question for a very long time now. Like you just mentioned about working at the Defense Research Center in India. So how was that like in the high pressure environment where you served as a scientist for over a decade, and during that time you, like you just mentioned, you worked with Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. I wanted to ask you for a very long time, just for the listeners who might not know who's Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. He's one of the world's greatest scientists of all time, and he's a past president of India. So what was his leadership style, and what is the single most important lesson you learned from him which you still apply it today?
Anyone who worked with Dr. Kalam, remember him for his humility. He was so humble. He greets every person by name. Even if he meets him them once, second time he will greet you with your name. And when you speak to him, he is down to earth and you feel that you have to do more. You can achieve more. That is the confidence, then that is the aura of positivity that Dr. Kalam brings when he is around. That's what I try to mimic whenever I want to be, when I talk positivity and energy and all. That's what the inspiration I get from that. You have to spread positivity. There is no point in spreading negativity. If you
True.
can, spread positivity, otherwise keep silent.
Mhm.
And always be humble. You reach a certain position, but there is a greater position to achieve. Be humble to achieve that position. That, in one word, if I have to describe my experience of working with Dr. Kalam, is try to stay humble.
Wow, that's so deep. And it's actually Indian culture, right? Like you just mentioned that karma, positive thinking, and all these are interconnected, and just think positive in general in your life. So moving on, I wanted to ask you, what from scientist to a project program manager, what was the most challenging part of shifting your mindset from that precision of scientist to the strategic complexity of IT leader?
If I have to put it candidly or bluntly, when you are working for DRDO, you have in your back of mind the sense of job security.
Mm-hmm.
The moment you move into this world of IT, that to Silicon Valley, that sense of job security is gone. Every day here, I approach, when I walk into the office, I walk into the office thinking that this is my first day and could be the last day.
Yeah.
That is the pressure. You have to keep your value or you have to prove your value day in and day out. For that, continuous learning is the key. There is not a single day you should feel that I learned everything. I have nothing more to learn. As an engineer, that is the mindset. As a leader, the mindset is, how do I make the people working with me better in their careers? How can I help those people achieve their career goals, that whatever they are aiming for? That is the mindset you should have as a leader. In my leadership class, I keep teaching. Leadership is not a title. Anybody can be a leader. Everybody is a leader, whereas manager is a title. You need to make the difference and always see where you are coming from. In both the worlds, as a leader, as an engineer, continuous learning is the key. Again, when I say continuous learning, it's not about acquiring knowledge. It is about acquiring the skills. When you put the knowledge into practice, that becomes a skill. That is what you need to be good at. You need to be talking about your skills, not your knowledge.
Wow. So far, for everything, what I've heard till now is um, servant leadership, but in practice, I guess, not just in theory, because we hear servant leadership a lot in any industry nowadays. It's a buzzword, but this is what servant leadership is actually like: putting your team members first and being humble, learning new things, and making your team members learn new things as well. Teach them, coach them how to learn, how to do things differently, or in any way grow them personally or and professionally.
Yeah, servant leadership comes when you have the mindset of sharing is learning. You never know. You may think that I'm expert in this particular area, but when you talk to the other person,
Yeah.
they may come up with something which you have not even tried, which you have not heard. Some people call it as intellectual humility, but that is also one of the foundations for servant leadership. Always look at leadership as a title that is to serve others. It's not about me, it's not about us, it's all about them. When you have that mindset as a leader, I'm positive that people will look at you as a person who they can reach out for help, share their grievances, get that solace, feel that comfort. All those things will come once you exhibit that practice of leadership by serving.
And that again connects us to the first answer, like how you mentioned about relationship, building relationship, trust, and all. If you give, you get back. But don't give thinking that you will receive in return. Just give in general. And karma will give you back.
That's what, guys. When you give something, you're expecting it back. It's called a loan. It's not help. When you help someone, the expectation should be that it's not coming back,
Exactly.
or
Yeah.
it will come back in a different form, not
Yes.
exactly one to one.
Exactly.
Similarly, for how your relationship building, you need to be first start loving yourself. Some people call it as self-awareness, self-realization, self-actualization. A lot of jargon words are out there. But everything starts with knowing who you are and accepting who you are.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, that is so deep. I wanted to ask you about certifications and continuous learning, as you mentioned in your answer. So, you hold a lot of certifications yourself. So, what drives you to maintain such a broad spectrum of expert level certifications, and how do you ensure they don't just stay on paper but actually translates into better outcomes for your team members?
Let me start by saying what is certification? Certification is testimony that you are advancing in that profession or you have passion for that profession. So when I did my PFMP, which is the highest certification from PMI, my goal is to practice that when I am doing portfolio management at my workplace or when the opportunity arises to be a portfolio manager to exhibit those skills. Similarly, when I did my TOGAF certification, that is for the architecture excellence. Similarly, when I did my SPC certification, that is when I have to lead multiple scrum teams and bring agility to the enterprise. There is a purpose behind every certification, thinking that by way of doing all these certifications, I'm proving my passion for the profession, but at the same time, when the opportunity comes, I'm aware of what is expected of that role. That way, I keep the value that I bring to the organization intact, thereby not becoming irrelevant or a person to be worried about whether I'll have my job tomorrow or not.
Yeah, especially in Silicon Valley.
And when I teach my PMP boot camps on a day one, I tell people if you are here thinking that by doing this certification you will get a job, this is your chance to get out. I'll give you your money full refund, take it and walk away. Because having a certification is not a guarantee to get a job. A lot of people come with that expectation that "Oh, if I do a PMP, I will get a project manager job. If I do a SPC, I will get a scaled, safe, some role, some job like that. That's a wrong perception. Don't expect like that. And a lot of people, even if you look at your leaders at work, they don't have certifications. Doesn't mean that they don't belong there. So certification is another way of continuous learning and knowing more or proving to the outside world when the opportunity comes in the form of interviews or when you are networking and when you're speaking You know what they are talking. If required, you can offer help in that particular area.
Yes. Yes. It's more for yourself, personal growth, and of course, professional growth in a way, but it's more of a personal growth that you know the jargon, you understand the topic more in detail. It's like you read the book and you understand it even better. So, absolutely, it's continuous learning over just getting another job. And yeah, in Silicon Valley, we have to learn things continuously because you never know. Today we have a job and tomorrow we don't know anything, right? Even if we are in FANG company or any company, continuous learning is a must. And I got inspired by you, seeing you learn so much. You are a continuous learner in a practice. Like I have seen you do so many certifications and at this age, so I got inspired and I got my 3 certifications in a row. And it's like, okay, if Bhanu is doing it right now, which means if he can continuously learn, then I should at least at this age, I should be able to learn, right? So you are an inspiration to me.
See, you never know. Who do you inspire?
Yeah.
That's the
Yes.
reason I say sharing is learning.
Yes.
Keep sharing your knowledge, keep sharing your wisdom. You
Yes.
inspire somebody who is sitting out there what to
Mm-hmm.
do next.
Yeah, and I do agree the things you mentioned about giving and giving back to the community. Like another thing which I learned from you is you taught me project management and then it's my turn now. So I started giving back to the community as well by sharing my knowledge and I did the same and I tried to mimic you in a way that give back to the community as much as you can. Yeah. And talking about certifications, you are a PMI authorized instructor and a holder of PFMP, the gold standard in portfolio management. For those currently debating the path, how has the PMP framework specifically served as the operating system for your career as you moved into these roles? Is that helped you in your roles?
Certainly, the answer is yes. Certifications are not just for the frame on the wall. Whatever you learn when preparing for the certification at the workplace, in your personal life, you will find opportunities to implement that or practice that knowledge and to make it as a skill. For example, stakeholder engagement, which is so important both in your personal life and professional life. Once you go through that certification process of go through the PMP, PMBOK, whether it is for PMP or PGMP or PFMP, the standards that PMP has, if you read and if you understand the stakeholder engagement, the different techniques, the different communication channels that you have to maintain, the stakeholder registers that you have to maintain, and the attributes that you need to maintain, the way to classify the stakeholders, all those things will help you if you put that into practice in your workplace, will make you better to execute a particular task. Who knows, you are executing a project without you knowing it as a project, and you have to deal with the leadership. How do you engage them? That's why PMI never says a stakeholder management, it says a stakeholder engagement.
Mm.
You need to engage them positively to your project program portfolio. To again, the projects you are engaging them to deliver the output, the programs you are engaging them to deliver the outcome, and the portfolio you are working with them to deliver the value. These are all the things that you will learn by going through this PMI material, that they have it for you as a free. If you are a BMI member, this is what you can really apply and practice at workplace and look better than the others.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? The other people may not even know any of these techniques that you are following. Like when you have to put the stakeholder impact map, put the stakeholder into 4 quadrants, whom you should talk to them every day, whom you can engage them once a week, whom you can engage them in once a month, keep them informed, all those things, right? You learn all these things by going through all the practice exams and going through the scenario questions that the PMP exam poses at you. And the way the PMP exam is structured is so practical with scenarios. That's what I tell people, that guys, whatever you do at workplace may not be the right answer. So don't pick that. Okay?
It's a mindset shift again.
So this is one area. The other areas like when you talk about PMI, project management, there are 10, 11 knowledge areas. Each knowledge area is unique in itself. Resource management, communication management, integrated change management. Everything comes and everything has got so much of material to read and practice. This is how you get better if you are executing projects at work. Even if you are an engineer, if you know this knowledge, this is what it means. You understand what the project manager is expecting from you or what the stakeholders are expecting from you. Similarly, when you know about the risk, you know when to call something as a risk and when to call something as an issue. Everything comes. There is nothing called silver bullet or everything is not defined everywhere that you just will pick it up. You need to put your effort to learn all these things. And these certifications are one way of learning all these things so that you are aware of what is happening. And who knows, today you are an engineer, tomorrow you may be looking at a project manager job or a business analyst job. So be prepared. Use the certifications to keep you motivated to be a continuous learner.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, you never know, as an engineer or a scientist can become a project manager. So, yes, keep yourselves updated and learn continuously. Now, shifting our gears a bit here, you might see a lot of people in your organization, next generation leaders who are coming into the market. And so, what is the one real world skill you find is most consistently missing from their toolkit?
If I have to say what is one skill that I see missing from most is active listening. Unfortunately, there is no curriculum in any of the subjects that we teach, whether it is engineering or MBA or science or arts or whatever it is. There is no course called active listening. So that comes by practice. First, if you don't have that mindset or the patience to listen to the other person, where is the question of even understanding them and then responding them to help them, whatever you are thinking, right? So practice that. Active listening is the number one skill that I think is missing for more people. Most people who we interact are reactive in nature. Very few people you will find them are really good active listeners, that they are listening to you to understand and then respond to you in a way that is helpful in that context, in that situation. How many times did you see when someone starts the presentation, somebody from the audience will stand up and start asking questions? That fellow has not even spoken. That fellow has not even shared what they want to share. So why are you interrupting them? This is not smart way. This is what I feel that those people, those are the ones need to be taken aside and tell, you need to go through active listening class. Every organization, if they can put active listening as part of their onboarding process and then assess them, assess the individual for the skills of active listening, that will go a long way in building a collaborative, psychologically safety, high performing teams.
Yeah, but in general, it's very difficult. You can teach how much ever soft skills to anyone, but it's very difficult to for one to implement those skills. You can teach for hours and hours, but actually the person is interpreting and absorbing stuff, and are they actually implementing stuff? So implementation part is even difficult to get it done. All right. Now, yeah. Again, a little bit shift on your cybersecurity side, and you are someone who have deep roots in information and security leadership roles in ISACA Silicon Valley chapter. So how do you see the relationship between project management and cybersecurity evolving over next 5 years or 10 years?
This is a good area to be talking about. We can talk for ages on this. The way you are trying to protect, every organization is trying to protect the information. The bad guys are also working smartly to break that. Since 2015, this information security, the security breaches have only increased. That has brought that additional attention in every organization to really look at their information security standards, processes, and that's where we are seeing nowadays that the workstations have no external hard drive connections, no USB connectors, and bring your own device is also being discouraged. Everything is becoming like now, like, you come to the office, take the workstation, work on it, and go back. Similarly, any document that is going in and out is being scrutinized, is being searched so that no information is getting leaked. Similarly, when the developers are developing the code and putting it in the GitHub and other repositories, lot of security reviews are being done to make sure that there are no leaks happening there. So information security for project managers, knowing what is information security, what is identity management, what is network security, what is encryption, knowing the fundamentals is important, because tomorrow if they have to run a security project, at least they know what they are getting into. Similarly, now the cloud migration projects. Now the AI will come into place. How do I use AI in project management? Since question is about security, let's stick to security. So knowing about what is identity, what is access management, what is privilege management, what is privileged access, what is authentication, what is verification, what is network, what is application security. These type of things all will help if the project managers know what they are, the fundamentals. I teach a course at Golden Gate University, security, privacy, and compliance. Along with security, knowing about the privacy, what information need to be protected, what is that personally identifiable information, what are those 17 attributes, and similarly for compliance, where is the compliance comes into local authorities, federal authorities, global. If you are global company, then you need to know different laws and regulations of each country. How do you make sure that whatever you are deploying or whatever you are supplying is adherence to those local laws, local rules? All those things is part of compliance. Everything is a very huge domain. Again, it depends. It doesn't hurt for the project manager to know the fundamentals in each of these areas, security, privacy, and compliance, so that they can become domain aware when they are executing projects in information security. That's the reason why I really encourage all project managers to be, I don't say technical, but be domain aware. If you are working in security, understand what it is. If you are working in supply chain, understand what it is. If you are working in marketing, understand what it is. So acquire that basic domain knowledge to be a better project manager rather than just a checklist project manager.
Yeah, the same these type.
You can be a generalized specialist in many areas, but your core area is project management. And similarly, when you are a project manager, another thing I keep telling people is whether you are a project manager managing one project or multiple projects, never be a order taker. Behave like a leader. That's the reason why I don't want to use the word project manager. I want to use the word project leader, because don't wait for the orders. Don't be an order taker. Beat. If someone has made you a project manager to run a security project, go run with it, deliver it, whatever it takes. And I think we touched upon communication. Another skill, that be assertive in your communications. No passive, no aggressive, but be assertive in your communications.
And that is another skill which is difficult to learn, easy to say, but difficult to learn. Again, talking about communication, you identify communication and candor as two primary ingredients for success as an IT leader. In your experience, which one do most leaders struggle with more, and why do you think that?
Personally, I practice candor in my communications. Most leaders, I feel, they struggle when they have to communicate with candor.
Yeah,
People
agree.
try to sugarcoat, beat around the bush, but the message has to be conveyed. And when you know that the message has to be conveyed, why can't it be direct?
But again, it comes back to the same thing. Like, you can't be passive, you can't be aggressive. You have to be assertive, and that's not everybody can do that, right? So, again, that's a skill easy to say, but difficult to implement it.
That's what I feel. People have to practice that. That's why that Radical Candor by Kim Scott, I read that book at least 3, 4 times so far.
Oh, wow.
Because it's so good, but it's very difficult to practice. As you keep
Yeah.
saying that is one skill, that radical candor is very difficult to practice. But I'm getting better at it. I'm doing it. Yes, some people may not like it initially, but once they know that that is your communication style, they'll get used to it.
Okay. That's a good book recommendation. It's one of my to-do list, or the one book which I have to Read. Yeah. And you have also mentioned about your no nonsense approach allows you to work effectively, right? If you have any instances about it,
Yeah,
about radical candor.
my way of no nonsense approach is if there is a work to be done, get it done. Whether you do it or you want somebody to do it, be very clear. And ultimately, your goal is to get the task done. Doesn't matter who gets the credit. See, this nonsense will come into picture once you start worrying about, oh, if this job is done, the other fellow may get the credit, then I may not be pushed, I may not get the due share of mine, something may happen, or people may think that the other fellow is smart, I'm not smart. If you start thinking like that, then the nonsense creeps in.
Correct.
When you keep all these things out and focus only on getting the tasks done, deliver the value, make the customer delight, that's where the no nonsense will apply. That's
Yeah.
my style. I don't care who gets the credit. I have few instances where people have taken my presentation and used it somewhere. They didn't even tell me. But I didn't
Nice.
bother. I came to know the people in the presentation came and told me that so and so has used your presentation slides. I said, that's fine. Somebody is using it. That's okay.
My
Okay.
goodness.
So that's why these are all the type of things that will happen. Once you have that no nonsense mindset, nothing comes to you, nothing really stays with you, or you will not feel anything for it negatively. Always have that positivity in your mind. That's where my no nonsense approach comes in.
I see. Also, always think positive. Like you said earlier at the beginning of the episode, stay positive. Cool. Now, I want to ask you the final question. As someone who has led the PMI Silicon Valley chapter, and that's how I know you, you were the president. What is the major trends you are seeing in the Bay Area that will change how we define successful project professional in the coming decades?
Use of AI.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not, AI is here to stay.
Yeah.
Again, guys, AI is not going to replace you, but you will be replaced by someone who knows AI, how to use AI as a tool. So the future holds for those people who are good at project management, that means project leaders, who are who have the basic knowledge of the domain that they are working in and how they can use the AI tools to be more efficient and more productive, proving their value day in and day out to the organization, that how they are bringing the value. Those are the people who will survive in this project management profession in the days to come. Those people who thinks traditionally putting up a big plan, putting a schedule and going through that, doing a proper risk management document, stakeholder engagement document. Yes, documents are needed, processes are needed, but you should be smart enough to use the AI tools to tailor to your situation, to your context, and be that hero that people are looking for. Those are the people who will survive in this profession. Those who stick to the traditional ways of project management, I think unfortunately they have to look for new profession.
Yeah. And again, continuous learning comes into the picture. Traditional people have to start learning, step up, and embrace AI and new changes. So, with that, thank you so much, Bhanu, for sharing your invaluable insights and sharing your experience and knowledge with our audience. It's truly rare to speak with someone who can bridge the gap between the high stakes precision of defense research and the strategic demands of Silicon Valley leadership so seamlessly.
Thank you, Prachi. Good luck. Have fun.
Yeah. And yeah, to wrap things up, I just wanted to share a few insights. What stood out during the episode throughout to me was your influence of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam influenced me for the same reason. Stay humble, stay positive, and keep learning, which is very, very important. For our listeners, Panu's journey is a reminder that while certificates like the PFMP or PMP provide the essential framework, it is the human element, the ability to speak with honesty and scale the communication that truly drives the program to success. You can connect with Panu on LinkedIn. And to our audience, thank you for joining PMP with Prachi podcast. If you found the episode helpful, please share, subscribe, and like to the channel. Until next time, keep leading with clarity and impact. See you next time. Bye bye.